All right, here we are. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. This is Dawn Reby from Excellence in Analytics, and we're taking a little pause from our leadership masterclass to really share with you a wonderful success story. So I know the page has been super busy, right? We've had a lot going on over here in our Tribe of Excellence Facebook community. We've had a ton going on with our leadership masterclass. And so it's been very, very busy. We have a couple days left of that. We have Monday at noon and Tuesday at noon. And then we go ahead and we get back to our regular schedule, which is meeting every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. All right, so once a week. So we have a little bit more to go. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Nick. Hello, Mayor. Hello, Michelle. We have Rhea. We have another Michelle. Angelica. Jessica. Welcome, everyone. Carrie, nice to see you. Jen, nice to see you, too. Happy Sunday. It is just a nice, relaxing day. Are we doing things that are nice and relaxing? I sure hope so. I'm opening up my curtains here. We got to close the background. So I'm from an Italian family, and we had a fancy room when I was younger, and it was orange, like an orange rug, that we weren't allowed to really be in that fancy room. And then we had fancy curtains that we stood in front of for all of the Christmas pictures and things like that. So it was pretty fun and funny. So this just reminds me of that as I'm looking back here. Hey, Sally. Hey, Erica. Glad you are all joining on in here. Allie's here too. Welcome, welcome. So today's a little special treat for you. Today is, it's breaking from the masterclass. A lot of folks are playing catch up right now, because we've been going hard. We've been going really hard in our masterclass every day. So if you are playing catch up, just go to Unit 1 and take a look at the homework. Tonight and tomorrow morning, I'll be looking at yesterday's homework. So we definitely want to get that homework in and ready. But today we're taking a break from the official delivery of our series. So we'll meet again tomorrow and we'll meet again Tuesday. But I have a special treat for you here today. Oh, I'm getting some love. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. So we have something very special for you today. We have Sergeant Nick Rhea is going to be popping on here. Oh, Lisa's in it to win it. I love it. So we have Sergeant Rhea who's going to be popping on here, and really, his story is unique, right? His story is pretty unique, and I'm actually going to let him share it with you. Yesterday we had Jen Kona, Rhea Gerstenkorn, and Angelica Katarina here on Facebook. That's her name, and so we had them sharing their stories of how they went from no confidence to incredible confidence, from not knowing that leadership really had to do with the people, to oh my gosh, I'm a master relationship builder, to crazy situations of upset and disappointment, to feeling welcomed and part of a beautiful community. And so today Sergeant Rhea is going to share a story with you. So go ahead, Nick. Go ahead and ask to come on in. You might have to press a little button. You might have already pressed it. So let me go ahead and check to see if you are ready to join in. I'm going to go ahead and add you in here. Press a few buttons here. Give us 1 sec. While we are waiting for Nick to come on board, I just want to say happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Happy rest day. Happy rejuvenation day. Maybe you do a little yin yoga today, or I would say get outside, but it's 8 degrees here in New Hampshire. So getting outside is a little tricky, although we did blow up our tube. So we're going to go tubing in just a little bit. All right. Welcome, Sergeant. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Doing very, very good.
I had this all set up. My screen was vertical, then it's telling me to turn it horizontal. So
you are
jumping around a little bit.
All right, Michelle says you are here. Yes. So can everyone hear the both of us pretty well? Say hi, Nick, so folks can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Hopefully we can. Do you see the comments? Because I see the comments now. So today's a good comment day. I see I see all the comments, but I don't think you do. So I'll let you know.
I can't see them.
Okay, good. So if you all have questions for Nick, or for Sergeant Rhea, you let me know and I'll relay it to him. So Rhea says they can hear just fine. Welcome, Noella. Glad you all are popping on here. Erica says, so fancy. Lisa says, I hear you well. Jen says, hello, Nick. Everyone's excited for you to share. Allie says she can hear just fine. Okay, perfect. Sally is thumbs up over there as well. Snazzy. Excellent. You've been called snazzy.
You gotta fake it. Fake it till you make it.
There we go. So Nick, I love your story, and I'm gonna walk us through it a little bit slowly because I want folks to know, really a little bit about you. You have a very special story in terms of your growth and development. And so, I want folks to just get a little sense, maybe a 30-second spiel of who you are. And before you go, I'm just going to welcome Renee and Angelica and all the other folks who are popping on this happy Sunday. So, Nick, go ahead and let us know who you are, what part of the country you're from, and your role at your current agency.
Yeah, so I'm Sergeant Nick Rhea from Rhode Island, Warwick, Rhode Island. Smallest state in the country. It's not New York, not Long Island, but I've been on with the Warwick Police Department for the last 10 years. I started, kind of made my way up the ranks, worked patrol, went to detectives, like year 3 or 4, worked in narcotics, undercover for a few years. Then I transitioned on back to patrol as a sergeant supervisor for a period of time. And then I had an opportunity to move to kind of a Monday through Friday shift, to do grant writing, basically. Mm-hmm. Not the most ideal and a job, I think, but it's got to get done. Somebody had to do it. And so as I was going through working as a grant writer, my administration came to me and said, "Hey, we saw a bulletin a nearby agency's putting out every week. We want you to do it." Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, I'll do my best. I'll give it a shot. So starting from knowing literally nothing for about a period of a year, I still knew nothing, and realized that crime analysis was the wave of the future. Mm-hmm. And I transitioned from there into detectives, and now I'm a full-time, I guess, crime analyst or the sergeant of a unit that I'm creating. Yeah. And that led me on to the Rising Genius program where I'm at right now.
So I have to give you credit. Well, first of all, and happy birthday to your daughter. She turned 1 yesterday, so this is pretty exciting. Right. So you have a wife, a family, and you're kind of juggling all of this, right? You're juggling promotions, you're juggling home life. A new baby in the past year can be a lot, right? And then they say, "Nick, you know what you're doing. Judith is joining. A bunch of folks are joining in here to celebrate you." So they said, "Okay, Sergeant, now you're in charge of crime analysis," which does not exist in the state of Rhode Island, right? So you border Massachusetts. It's known there. Crime analysis is known there. And intelligence, evidence-based policing, like all that stuff is known there. You're getting all kinds of fun comments. You're sworn, and yes, he's a sworn supervisor, and he is tasked with building an analytical unit. So you have a couple hundred officers at your agency, right?
Right. Yeah. We have about 180 officers in Warwick. Like you said, analytical capacity is pretty much non-existent in Rhode Island, and maybe Warwick and Cranston and neighboring agency kind of touch on it, but it's new, and I had no direction to go in. I was just pretty much making it up on the fly. And then I reached out to nearby MACA, the Massachusetts Association of Crime Analysts. People like Erica Burns are involved in that, and pretty much just saying, "Hey, what is this crime analysis all about?" Mm-hmm. And there was an opportunity that came up. You were teaching a free crime analysis course. It was a week-long course. Mm-hmm. And just seeing your drive and passion for it, I was on board. I was in the back of the class, just like totally on board. And
Nick was the anchor. So for those of you who teach, right? For those of you who teach, that there's those anchor folks who are eager, are energized, and you look for them before you're teaching to really draw them out. Nick was the anchor. Like, he was just like, I've been waiting for this my whole life, But kudos to him. He was actually one of the only people in Rhode Island. Welcome, Angelica and Sandy, and all you folks everyone's saying hi to you, Nick. Everyone's saying hi to Sergeant Rhea. And so, so you're in the back of this classroom. You're a sergeant, a few hundred officers. Your job is to do all your SWAT stuff, all your sergeant stuff, all your everything stuff, grants and everything else, and build an analytical function at your agency, right? And so, so you come to this class. We actually were doing an IACP course. So I was teaching for IACP or CRITEC. and we're teaching, analytical, starting up your analytical unit and how to do it. And Nick, it was like he had glowingness around. He's like, "Oh my God, my people." And so
Yeah.
you worked into some relationship building. So talk about your work with the regional network group. What you said, you reached out to a Mass Association of Crime Analysts. Great idea, networking. How did that work out for you?
Yeah, it was great. I got right on board. They kind of joined me. They took me in with open arms, basically. Can you still hear me? You froze for a second.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it took me in with open arms. Like I said, people like Erica in the area, and that I could reach out to and say, kind of like, hey, I need direction. What am I doing here? Because, like you said, my history. I'm also a SWAT team squad leader. I run trainings and I prep trainings, and all I knew was like kicking indoors and being on the streets. And this is totally like, it is it's the same church, different pew. That's the best way to describe it, and I gained just such a respect for all these crime analysts and what they do on a daily basis. Again, we're sitting in front of screens all day long and reading reports and crunching numbers. And I mean, this is the hardest I've ever worked at my police department by far.
Yay.
And I see people, detectives, kind of sitting back watching Netflix and like, wow, that must be nice. But oh gosh, I gained a tremendous respect for all the crime analysts out there.
It's so
No
funny
doubt.
you say that, because I've listened to analysts who are like, I am working so hard and all these people are just relaxing. And so you saw it firsthand. You're like, wait a second. First, I was in this role, and analysis and learning and growing and building from the ground up takes courage, takes persistence. So how did you feel like when they said you're now in charge of building an analytical unit? Were you like, cool, that's easy? Or were you like, holy crap? Lots of respect over here for you. There's people chiming in. They're saying, this is great. They're all saying this is great. I'll let you go back and read them later on, but keep it coming. Keep it coming. I'll let them know you're telling them good stuff.
Yeah, I think my reaction was much like your class, where I was just like, yeah, okay. So I'm in charge of building this unit, and the question came where I asked them, hey boss, what do you want? And they didn't know. They didn't know what they wanted out of it. So, it was my job as a professional, right, to tap into resources and find out what exactly a crime analysis unit is all about, and how do I build that? So tapping into resources like the Tribe of Excellence and Rising Genius definitely catapulted me beyond measure from where I was and now where I'm at.
So let's talk about that for a second, because you actually are unique, right? A lot of folks put themselves through our coaching programs, right? Because they want to accelerate themselves. But you actually went to your department and said, hey, we need like someone to really just make us go faster. We need someone to build the process with us who's been there, done that. And I see the questions coming in. I'm definitely going to go back to them. So keep on coming with them. So you approached your agency, and what did you say to them? How did you say, like, we need help?
Yeah. So obviously I wasn't getting the answers from them. I would ask them what they want. They didn't exactly know. I mean, it's a different field, totally new to Rhode Island, like we said. So I went to them and said, look, if we want to do this right, we need to basically contact the professionals. We need to be told what it's all about. Mm-hmm. So obviously I built a relationship with you through Tribe of Excellence. We had the pods with, people like Ria, Erica, and I wanted to get into Rising Genius program. So the department actually, they hopped right on board, and they paid for it. They paid for it using, basically grant money, which was nice too, because I'm still in charge of grants. So I was able to spin it in a way. I was able to spin it in a way where, like, hey, we got money here.
Oh, we lost Nick for a second. So Nick's going to pop back on as soon as he's ready. And I'm going to ask him some of these questions. So some of the questions I'm going to ask him are, what's the hardest thing? I saw that, Renee. What's the hardest thing that you have done? Smart department. So I'm going to give him a moment to get back in. I can see that he's trying. So I'm going to go ahead and accept him. And yeah, and really being able to, say like, we want to accelerate this. We got you back. We got Nick back. Everyone's happy. Everyone's happy you're back. I
Great.
do have one question over here for you. Now that you're back, what was the hardest thing for you from Renee? What was the hardest thing for you about implementing a crime analysis unit so far?
Probably, I'm glad Renee's here because I actually wrote down some notes and that she said from day 4. So I want to get into that after. But probably the hardest thing was buy-in. Why do we, it wasn't as simple as, Nick, you're going to create a crime analysis unit. It was like, Nick, you're doing intel and get to it. But
Yeah.
I see the benefit of having a crime analysis unit. And like we've said, and like you've said, Dawn, this is the wave of the future. This is where we need to be. We need to look at analytics and make critical decisions based off of that. So the buy-in, it's a daily process, just talking to the right people. And this actually goes back to what Renee was saying, understanding first before being understood. This is the 7 habits of highly effective people too. Basically just slowly but surely looking at my supervisors, what do they want to hear? What do they want to know? How can I drive this point forward without, beating a dead horse? So you got to play it. You got to play it a little bit. And
Yeah.
but that's probably the hardest and took the most time to kind of get them on board.
And so one of the things that we've done together is work out your vision statement. Right. And really put into place some policies, procedures, that kind of thing. How would you recommend other people start at a vision, or how would you recommend they start?
Oh, no doubt. That is the perfect starting point. I'll tell you first and foremost, I am not great at faking it. I make that joke early on, fake it till you make it. I'm horrible at faking it. My emotions are on my sleeves like no other. But the vision statement really instilled confidence within me to be able to, confidently and accurately pass that on to my supervisors and the people that are making the decisions. Words carry weight. So what I say and how I say it is going to drive people. I don't want to use the word manipulate, but will drive those leaders to make some decisions. So yeah, the vision statement is literally the foundation for everything. That all the work that we put in.
Yeah, and so you took our templates and you tapped into it. And we did a lot of work on our coaching calls to really figure out how we can formulate those specific to your agency. And you did a phenomenal job. Like, you really did. And then executing the communication of that vision plan is what you're talking about. Really, is how do I relay what we're doing and have confidence in what we're doing? I mean, did you start out with confidence?
No, definitely not. Like I said, this was I had the tactical side, right? The on the streets mentality, and this was just a total transition. So definitely lacking confidence, the imposter syndrome, like Angelica and Rhea talked about, and not Jen, because she's 18 years on and she's our superstar. But yeah, I had that. I suffered from that. So definitely instilled confidence in me.
Yeah, like I remember when some of your first calls, the group calls where you would come in and you're like, and now you're just like, no, this is how it's done. I remember the moment where you were just like, this is what we need, Chief. Let's make it happen. I'm going to grab a detective. I need time. And then you set up a whole roadmap for her to actually, there we go, to actually, build her confidence too, relative to intel. So we have a couple of questions. Is it okay if I ask you some questions, Nick?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. So we have Renee saying buying is hard, but once you get it, it's amazing. You continue to grow. So many people are relating to what you're saying here. Lisa says, do you have a professional staff or a civilian team or a sworn team?
We're all sworn at my police department. So because this is brand new crime analysis unit, we it's like uncharted territories basically. So I'm working with a lot of with all sworn officers. I'm in the detectives division, and I'd like to get a certified crime analyst in here. That's part of my vision. That's what I'm projecting and putting out there. I have a 2 or 3 5-year goal.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, because you steal a detective right now for a couple of hours so that she can do some intel, and she's really good and she loves it. And then you actually do some of the intel too, briefing and that kind of thing. But you're right, 200 officers or 180 or 90 or close to 200 officers. If you're going by the IACA standards, really, that puts you at somewhere around 3 or so analysts, right? Three and
Right.
a half analysts. So yeah, so doing this on your own is tricky, but you got to start somewhere.
Right.
Renee or someone had noted that grants are a really great place to start. That's not the permanent solution, right? But that's a great place to start to begin to build this out. Let's see. Yeah, several folks have had issues with buy-in, and you're talking about consistently chatting, having that vision, being secure with that vision, and then delivering that vision over and over again in small bites, and so forth. So someone had asked, and I can't quite see who, I think it might have been Melissa or Michelle. It was definitely an M1. What was the hardest thing or the biggest weakness that you had walking into this, and how did you resolve that weakness?
My biggest weakness is procrastinating. Maybe so every day was different. I as I was piecing this together, it was just like, do the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, where I didn't have that clear vision, where the why, finding the why. Dawn always says that. And for a while there, I didn't know what the why was. She'd ask me, what's your why? I'm like, I don't know. But really drilled it in. The why, the police department, why am I doing this? To stop crime, to solve crime, to be the glue that pieces this together between every division, right? I work for the patrol officers to the administration. So just getting ultra focused, ultra clear. That was my personal biggest hurdle. But it's almost like I'm looking back on that old me, and it's refreshing.
I love it because so we have on Thursdays in our group, in our private group, we in the RG in coaching programs, we have our infrastructure series, right? That's every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And so we talk about a new topic. And so we went through the vision, we went through the policies, the procedures, retention. We're actually talking about this upcoming week, data quality and data improvements that the analyst doesn't own, that other people own, right? And so I remember when you first started coming to those, you're like, I just need someone to give me the answers, right?
Right.
And so we give you templates and all kinds of stuff. And now you come to these infrastructure sessions, and other folks who are newer to the program are like, I just need someone to give me the answers. And you're like, so here's what you need to know. This is what you need to do. So it's really tremendous seeing you start from this starting point and just project and help so many people too, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's funny you said it like, just give me the answers. I mean, that's what, to tell you the truth, this is what I was looking for. I was looking for a magic pill, right? I'm so swamped in work, I'm swimming, and I'm like, I need this magic pill to make this all go away. And this, this wasn't that, because a magic pill, you pop it in and that's it, right? Mm-hmm. This Dawn instilled like lifelong processes, like, you talk about the 7 habits of highly effective people a lot. It's not just your quick fixes, your tape, your Band-Aid fixes. It's about being consistent, being persistent, and being intentional and driven. And those are things that Dawn has taught me in this and taught me in this Rising Genius program. So, it's like building it in layers, and
it really is. And you've done a great job. So I love what you're saying here is that a lot of what we talk about on a regular basis for career stuff translates so nicely into our personal lives too.
No doubt.
Relationships in your personal life, in your family. We talked about vision statements for your family and what do you and your wife want, and where do you guys want to be? And that's been really wonderful to watch you make decisions in your life relative to your career based on now this clarity around this family vision, which is really, really cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My family, my faith are like my primary focuses above everything else,
Hmm.
above my work and whatever else. So, um, instilling these values like that work, rest, balance, uh, has definitely benefited my family. 2020 was a crazy year for a lot of people, but I got to tell you, this is one of the best years of my life.
Yeah.
And, I got closer to my family, my wife, my children, God, and you know, just having so much peace at work, knowing that I'm going in the right direction. I have people like Dawn that I can go to and talk things through. Uh, it's just like I owe you a debt of gratitude. I really do.
Oh, I love this. This is the kind of stuff that just makes me so warm inside because I know what you've done for your agency and I know what you've done for your family, and to be just this small part of your bigger journey has been awesome. Awesome. And I know the folks in our group agree that they I know you can't see them, but they're all chiming in right here. They're all talking about you, loving your energy, loving your excitement. I wish you could see all the comments, and you'll have to go back. Judith is loving you. Jen Koner is loving you. Michelle is loving you. Renee is loving you. All kinds of Elisa's out here, chatting you up. Let's see. This is great. It's awesome to hear from someone who's sworn, who's also an analyst. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, so that's a real thing to be sworn, right? And now you're trying to figure out like, how do I think like an analyst when I've been taught to think like, SWOT, like react kind of thing. So your transition around thinking has been phenomenal, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, asks Michelle, how confident are you now that you've gone through RG? How confident are you in what you do?
Well, I'll give you the before. I was probably somewhere around a 2, I guess, a 2 maybe. There's always room for growth, but like I'll give a 7-7. Give a 7-7.
7-7 is
But
good.
I
7.7.
7-7 is great. That's an honest answer. But you can't really put this on a scale of how great this has been. This whole process has been. But there's so much more room, and I have so much left on the table to accomplish. And this is just setting me up. It's been phenomenal. So
Yeah. Carrie says that she's in the same boat. She's a sworn analyst. She's a sworn with analytical responsibilities for the last several years and how to juggle it all. And, and so I'm glad your story can relate to her. That really, sometimes you're just kind of alone. Like they say, Sergeant, you're it. You're it. It's your job. And you're just like, okay, where do I go? Who do I turn to? How do I make this happen for my agency? How do I succeed? And, and not, and juggle the sworn versus non-sworn piece of it. We've worked with a lot of police agencies just like you, and private folks too, not necessarily police departments, but private folks too, who feel the same way. They're just kind of like, how do I just get successful and accelerate my success and balance all the demands from all of these other areas? So Ria is cheering you on. Michelle says, honest, wonderful. All the best. Yeah. So you still have a couple more months in our programs. And I know that, I've seen, especially, I mean, your first month was like a huge transition, right? And now you're a few months in. Where are you? You're probably 4 or 5 months in now. Has it been that long?
I think 4 months. 4 months in.
So you still have some time with us. What's one thing that you really want to do over the next few months in the program?
Yeah, I feel like so building this unit is, it's kind of a theory. I say a theory, but we're like right there. So we got a new chief, and it's like we're cracking this wide open. So getting a detective in full time, and then setting the framework for having at least one analyst on full time. We're right there, and I think in the next couple months that's going to happen. So it's just taking the wrapping paper off, basically.
Yes, and being equipped with how to train this person, what roadmap to put them on, what resources to connect them with, how to create sustainability for that person, retention strategies, all of this, all of the great stuff that you've been working on. And it's true at different phases. Like when you were at the very beginning, you needed different support. And when you were in the middle, you needed different support.
Right.
And now you're like, it's happening and you need different support. So I'm so glad that, you know, there's folks who, you know, you're walking alongside a group of people who really care about you and who are there every single week, right? Every single week. So we have the group sessions, we have the one-on-one sessions, we have the infrastructure sessions, the leadership component, the modules. Like, what's been the most helpful for you to really propel and accelerate your success?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. So definitely the relationship building. I mean, I love that piece of it. And, you know, I've said it before, like, when people come in my office, I can't help but talk to them. So one, it's been helped me shut the door, get the work done. Yes. But, you know, as a supervisor, you know, it's not just me I have to worry about anymore. So building on those relationships of the people that work under me, you know, that detective that I'm pulling on board, you know, and everybody in the detectives wing, you know, interdependence over independence. That's huge. So we're stronger as a team than we are working independently. And I'm kind of getting a little bit off topic, but I wanted to touch on this point. So, you know, I know that in the past week we've kind of talked. We had some people on making comments that, hey, it's tough dealing with people at work, and you know they're not listening and whatever else. But you know, this program has really helped me with taking a look at myself. How can I change myself? How can I make myself better? You know, how can I learn from these other people? And you hear a lot of times that people don't want to be talked to like children, but I challenge you, that anybody listening, talk to people like children. You know, talk to them like children, because you know the children are our future. We want to treat them with love and compassion and build them up. You know, when I look at my daughters, I don't want to just stuff them in their corner. I want to show them that trust and love is, you know, most important. So, you know, talk to them like children. And how they should be talked to. So
I love it.
Anyway, getting off topic.
I love it. I love it. No, you're fine. You're fine. You're really talking about, you know, not pushing your ideas on people, but helping them be curious and do it with kindness and caring and honesty and respect and authenticity and all of that. And
Yes.
You had mentioned, you know, as a sergeant, you know, these 7 habits of highly effective people, 7 habits of highly effective people, you know, really some components that we live by has been very valuable for you. So you're just a rock star, and everyone agrees that there's a bunch of shout out to the girl dad, to the girl dads. Great take on that, Sarge. We have all kinds of folks just really supporting you here. So I know you've met quite a few other people who are, you know, leading teams or and somewhere in the process. How has the community that we meet privately in our private groups, how's that community been for you in successful for you?
Oh, it's great. It's great. Yeah. I mean, we've had meetings where it's just like, you know, we're getting right to work. We've had meetings where we're kind of just open, honest, and raw about everything, and, you know, vulnerable, and talk about our problems and what's going on, you know, our private and personal lives and work lives, because all of that matters. All of that comes together. And it's not like we work and then we go home. Like, stuff carries over, and so everybody, like you said, they're rock stars. I love going to these groups. And we just support each other. We uplift each other and support each other. And you know, you write a list of 5 people that you want to get to know, and I mean, all these people. Everybody's so uplifting for each other. It's awesome.
It really, really is, and they're from all over the world, or at least country. You have Florida and California and Virginia and Massachusetts and New Hampshire, and I don't know, I could keep on naming them, right? So so people you might not have met before, but somehow they're supporting you during these weekly sessions. So Lisa is asking you, were you like this before RG? And you had said, no, I was like a 2 in my confidence, in my direct, and now I feel really, really good. So what do you think, what part of all this process was the most impactful for you? Was it the group sessions? Is it the materials, the templates, the CompStat, you know, examples? Like, what is most helpful for you, or what has been most helpful for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I was always energetic and, always kind of
Yes.
the crazy guy from probably the start. But,
With
you
curly
know,
hair.
I, a huge afro, like this big when I first started. But, uh, yeah, I think I'm more authentic now and just I listen a lot better, um, rather than just trying to, like you said, push my ideas on people because I felt like my idea was best. But just being real and honest and empathetic, like Andrew Butts was talking about in our group session.
Yeah.
Um,
He's great. Andrew's great, by the way.
oh,
Andrew, if you're
great.
listening, shout out to Andrew.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Andrew. But yeah, it's just kind of compounding between my faith and now I realize that because these all come together, my work life, my faith, and my personal life, I can be one person all throughout. And it's like, it's that good person. It's that authentic and pure and honest person. So, yeah, it's definitely
You
helped.
are. You are. You absolutely are. And I love that you're seeing the relationship because it really is, if we're just looking at work, that's only one thing, right? But to be this authentic person in your spiritual life, your family life, and your police life, your role as a sergeant, as a supervisor, is key because you can't fake the funk, and so I like that you bring that all together. And recognize that you're going to be working on you on a regular basis. And not that, I mean, you were great the day we met you. Well, you were great. Everyone was cheering for you. They're all like, he was great.
Nah.
But I'm so glad that you had growth in all of this. And so Judith says, you're pretty awesome. Yeah. Jen says, I love how much success we all have had. Yes. Lisa thinks you're pretty awesome too. So, some folks who they might be funded by their police agency to go through this, and it's a lot more than just police stuff, right? And it could be no police stuff, right? We have business owners, we have private sector people. So people that don't have their corporate environments or their police agencies funding them to go through something like this, would you say, hey, it's worth it? Like dive on in, or what would you say to them?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Had my agency not been uh, willing to pay for this, I was already prepping this with my wife that, hey, this has got to happen. This has got to happen. So, make the investment because it's life changing. It truly is. Um, and I can't say enough about this. If I didn't buy into this, I wouldn't be on today. I definitely wouldn't.
I love it.
So yeah, I would absolutely have gone through the program if I was paying out of pocket. But if anybody needs help with their department paying, feel free to reach out because it was some wordplay and stuff, but it worked out in the end.
Awesome. So, we have that's great, and I appreciate you saying that because I know that you've seen value, from both sides, the personal life and the career life. Michelle says, what feedback have you received from your team that stood out to you and make you feel that you're doing an awesome job? What feedback have you received at this point?
Yeah, so actually, I just have kind of a success story the other day. We have a new captain in our community services division, so I wanted to bring him in and say, hey, this is how I can best serve you. And as I'm talking through mapping and hotspots and traffic data, and he's just like, you really like this, huh? I'm like, I really do. And he said, let's keep pushing you forward on that because he recognizes that it's for the betterment of the department. It's going in this direction. And I reached out to patrol guys. I mean, they're the frontline workers. I told them the other day that I work for them. So anything that I could do to help them, let me know. And I had just the other day, patrol officers coming up with ideas how to put like bolos together so that they can go back and look at it on the job while they're on the streets. So getting great feedback. My advice is put yourself out there. Put a face to the emails.
Yes.
Because get fully integrated into every division. You'll get that feedback. You'll get that feedback whether you like it or not, but you'll learn from it for sure.
And it takes courage to do that because, you're a sergeant, you want to like have your reputation still be really good. And so it's like, and it's new. I just want to remind everyone, this is newer to this part of the country. analytics. I mean, 10 years ago or 12 years ago when I was in New Hampshire, there were no analysts in the state of New Hampshire. And now, it's slowly getting there, right? Rhode Island, there's a couple, maybe they're doing some analytical work. So I just want to remind folks that this is new. This isn't an agency with 80 analysts, right? This is an agency, this is a sergeant who believed that there was a better way and has stepped forward over and over again to find that better way and to implement that better way. So this is really, really big stuff. So you're a Rhode Island pioneer.
Sure. Old news to everybody else, but like I'm in the forefront of Little Rhode Island.
It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to put your neck out there. And I think the courage piece of it is something that folks can relate to, because a lot of times folks don't have the courage, right? And so you have the courage, you have the enthusiasm, and you're like, now give me the how and the support to get me there. And so that's really been a great combination. And so, so I'm glad that you've been part of all of this with us. Let's just see, colleges now have major crime analysis. Yeah, exactly. When I was in school, there was no crime analysis, right? Yeah, so we have several, the word is spreading, exactly. Renee says that just amazes me that it's new. Yeah, so, over on the East Coast, it is not, I mean, even I look at New Hampshire where I'm still physically located, and although I was the analyst in Nashua, which was the first analytical unit in the state, really I've taught in New Hampshire, and they have analysts, but they kind of operate as maybe a records clerk or something like that. They don't really perform the analytics. They might do some stats, but no predictive analysis, no, here's, what you need to know, here's where you need to go, no deployment strategies, or I would say little deployment strategies, but it's growing. So, but Nick, you have a really good catalytic converter theft. Is it okay to talk about this one?
Absolutely.
All right. So I just want to tell it, I kind of want to wrap this up with this awesome story because, because it's a really good one. But before we do that, we have some questions. What was the deciding factor, having sworn versus non-sworn? He has no one. He grabbed someone and he said, you're my detective and you're coming in here and you're really good at this. But he's fighting for, an analyst who wants to do analysis full time to come to his agency. More great questions. So Renee says, I'm looking at 29 years in oh gosh, wow. 29 years in California, that's pretty wild. Tanya says, we have a contract with the university for paid internships. It's great. Yeah, internships are great. That's how I started 20 something years ago. So I want to just help people, walk people through this catalytic converter series. So no crime analysis exists in the state relative. I mean, you might have some analytical function, but in fact, I know some of your analysts. I know Tiverton, they had an analyst down there, but also underutilized, right? And so there's not a real analytical function, and you take a course on, how to perform some tactical analysis, and you come to class and you're like, I got a case. Tell folks here how you created some excitement with your agency, with yourself, around this catalytic converter series.
Yes, certainly with myself, because catalytic converter crime series isn't necessarily like the hot crime series, but it was a crime series nonetheless, and it was severely impacting our department. Am I coming through okay? Because you kind of
yes, yep,
yeah, okay,
yep.
So as we had something like 66 incidents, or 66 incidents of crime catalytic converter thefts in our area. So through learning threshold analysis, and putting days of the week for the days of the offenses, used some predictive analysis to determine when and where the next catalytic converter theft was going to occur. And, I put it out like, I don't know, this is kind of like, this seems like hip and trendy and new, but I put it out there to the guys, and that day, during the time period that I said, we arrested two people for thefts, and that same captain that I was talking about earlier was like, "Holy smokes, you did this?" I'm like, I just put my hands up. I'm like, "Sir, it's just, I'm good. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you." But
this is your token story. So let's back it up for a second. because you really didn't give yourself enough credit. So here's how it works. Sergeant is taking this course, this basic analytical course that I'm part of. And I'm like, hey, here's an Excel sheet, just perform this threshold analysis and then do some predictive analysis using, some normal ranges and you did the day of week. And so we did some predictions using a basic prediction sheet. And Sergeant was like, oh, I don't know if I can say this to my agency. I really don't know. Because he was afraid, right? He was afraid that they were going to laugh, right? Like, who are you, a crystal ball, right? And so he's like, I'm going to just see. I'm going to see what happens. And he shared it with him. He's like, hey, guys, this guy's going to hit again. I know he's going to hit again. And he's going to hit right around here, right around this time. And then he was like, oh, I did it. And sure enough, the patrol made an arrest based off your predictions. And that kind of like sealed the deal. Like, Sergeant's the real deal. He knows what he's doing. And you were just like, I still don't know what I'm doing, but thank God that worked out.
Yeah, it's funny because this is still like a huge problem for us. And it sounds like through a recent meeting that we had, it was a huge problem. It's a huge problem countrywide. So in this latest meeting, Warwick was highlighted for our theft. And actually pretty soon we're going to kind of come up with a catalytic converter task force. Gosh, it sounds so good, doesn't it? And the CAT team, but taking data from statewide, Southern Mass, and even Connecticut, and actually doing some predictive analysis based on lessons that I learned from that class that Dawn taught. So
I love it.
It's great. Yeah, it's great.
And so many of us have seen your journey over the last just couple of months and even last year. I mean, honestly, I think we met in February of last year, right? And so in just 1 year, going from being alone, and you did a lot of hard work when you were alone. Like, you try to figure out data systems and back end ODBC connections. Like, you did all this, right? And so then, we see all this, and we see you now putting out there some predictions. Tanya says crystal ball. And now it's like, oh, that sergeant is going to be in charge of this task force. Well, you just wait. They're going to put you in charge of the whole task force. And you're going to be leading the show.
We'll see how it goes. I'll keep you posted.
All right. Well, I'm incredibly proud of you. I'm thankful that you invested your time, your enthusiasm, your coachability, because you easily, as a sworn, right, could have said, who's this civilian group, Excellence in Analytics? What are they going to really teach me, right? And you put all that aside, and you're just like, help me grow. And our team, our groups, our coaching, the weekly sessions, the one-on-one sessions, and your commitment to your own excellence, just really accelerated you. And so I think that's something important to note, is that, you're an open-minded learner. You're just like, I don't know everything, even though my title might be higher than you. I don't know everything, and I'm open to learning. And I adore that about you. I think that that's a wonderful quality, and that's really why you're spearheading Rhode Island in its success around analytical function. So kudos to you.
I appreciate that. And if any supervisors or chiefs or any sworn are listening, don't take these crime analysts for granted, because they work their tails off. And I learned a ton from them. And, they, like Jen was saying the other day, she had her phone on her 24/7. I mean, Intel never stops. It's never going to sleep. It's always, obviously we have to set our own boundaries, but a lot of things came easier for me being sworn, like getting my IT to set up that ODBC, because they were like, yes, sir. Yes, Sergeant, we'll take care of it for you. But I admire all you guys, all you crime analysts. You are all rock stars. You put in a ton of work, and I hope that anybody sworn or the like can recognize that.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for being part of our session here on our Relaxing Sunday. And thank you for being part of our RG program, our coaching programs. You are one of our great success stories, and we still have time to go. We still have more success to make with you. And
That's right.
The guidance that you're you're giving people as a supervisor, you know, to really move themselves and their units forward, and not just in policing, but in all areas, in private sector, public sector, whatever it might be, just having that learning mindset. And I love what you contribute to our group. So I'm so thankful that you're part of it, that you're with us weekly, and that you're here today sharing your success and motivating people to dive in. Just go. Just today's
go.
the moment. Yes.
Just go. That's right.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for
You're a
having me.
rock star. Any last words before we pop on here off here?
No, I just what reminded me about what Jen was saying, you know, how she was in, I think she said Africa, and she had her work on her mind. You know, I've said this probably 3 or 4 times. You're probably sick of hearing it, but you know, one's greatest vacation is within one's own mind. So don't be stressed. Just take it little chunks at a time, and you know, don't take stuff so seriously, because we have a lot of good things to live for right now. So keep it up.
That's right. And on that note, we're going to go sledding now.
Excellent.
Thank you so much, Nick. I appreciate you as a human, as a supervisor, and as someone who's a great contributor to our RG program. So thank you for being
Awesome.
you. All right.
Thanks, Dawn.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. And if you still have questions here, keep on plugging them in, whether you're listening to the live or to the replay. Hopefully, Nick, you'll come back and check out some of the comments maybe later on tonight or tomorrow and answer any specific questions that folks have. And I'll certainly pop on as well. Thank you all for taking some time out of your Sunday. And we'll see you for our last 2 sessions of the Leadership Foundations Masterclass tomorrow at noontime Eastern. We'll be back here to you know, really move forward with what has helped Nick so much, that relationship mapping, that relationship building piece. So we're going to continue with the final step of that tomorrow at noon. We'll see you all there. Thank you so much, Nick. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.